What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am, and if you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, you'll get robbed by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, that's right, they'll convince you they're good, but in reality, they're plotting ways to steal your wallet. Anyways, today I have quite the subscriber story for you guys. If you guys have any crazy stories of your own that you want to be in a video, be sure to hit me up in the DMs at my Instagram, which is @Scrubby. I use a lot of subscriber stories, and honestly, you guys got some bangers. I can't even lie. A lot of you guys got some crazy stories. And today we're going to be talking about the time a neckbeard saved the day. Yeah, that's right. You don't hear those words very often. So basically, the person that sent me this story works at a shopping mall, right? But it's like one of those outdoor malls where you don't really walk inside of a building to go from store to store. It's an outlet mall. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's one of those outlet malls. And for the most part, the people who work at different stores don't associate much because they're in, like separate buildings. It's like in the mall where there's a food court where you meet people or whatever. It's just kind of like this outdoor mall thing. And they had this security guard named Robert who was a very, very chubby guy. And that's not an insult. I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, he was fat. That's disgusting. I wouldn't say that. What I'm saying is that, he was just a bigger guy who was very obsessed with very, very nerdy things, very, very nerdy things. Like, it's not bad. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But, like, when people would ask him what his favorite movie was, Homeboy would be like, I don't watch movies. I watched Lord of the Rings once, but I mainly play D&D and watch anime. Do you like anime? Like, he was just one of those guys. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not insulting him. That's just the reality of the situation is that's what the guy was into. And most security guards, they carry around pepper spray or pepper spray. I don't really know what weapons that most security guards are packing. Okay, I don't think it's really concise. But this guy, this security guard definitely walked around with two clubs, okay? You know the clubs that they use where it's the ninja, they have the little handle on them and you can swing them around? Yeah, he had one of those. It's not a nightclub because it's more tactical or karate. I don't know. You guys get what I'm trying to say, all right? I'm not a karate expert out here. He would carry those around and would use it to get people that were security threats out of the mall. And for the most part, that's pretty harmless. It's no big deal. Nothing too weird about it. If anything, it's a little bit entertaining. Get to watch this fat guy run around with ninja swords, chasing homeless people out. But there wasn't really a lot of crime at this outlet mall. Outlet malls, surprisingly, are not where crime syndicates plan all their evil missions. Could you imagine? It's a James Bond movie, the villain's talking about how we're going to blow up London, and he's just doing it in the parking lot with coals in the background. It's just not a very high crime type of place. Most outlet malls aren't, it's nothing personal, it's just the truth. So the security guard would get very bored and make even really small things a super big deal because he wanted to feel like his job was important, which I understand. He took his job seriously and there's nothing wrong with that. But some of the stuff that he would kind of blow out of proportion and whatnot was just a little bit over the top. Homeless people would just be loitering in the middle of the mall and he would walk up to the workers and be like, I think those guys there are up to no good. I heard them talking about the bank. I think they're going to try to rob it. And everyone would be like, no, they're talking about the bank because the bank gives out free hot coffee in the morning and they usually let the homeless people get it. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure they're going to rob it. I'm going to keep a tail on them. And would spend the rest of the day trying to sneakily follow these homeless people around very poorly because he's a big guy, he'd be trying to hide behind bushes and watch what they're doing, and the homeless people would know and they would kind of mess with them a little bit and be like, all right guys, let's get into the bank. They'd go in and get coffee and he'd be like, I knew they were up to no good, you see, but they got scared because I was watching. He really thought that he was out here stopping the world of all crime, and most people just kind of let him believe it because obviously his job meant a lot to him, and it's better to let him think that he's changing the world and preventing bank robberies than it is to tell him that he's just a security guard in a mall that doesn't really matter. It's just not. And anyways, one day a new guy starts working in one of the stores, and the security guard is really suspicious of him. He's like, that guy's bad news. That guy's bad news. He goes around, he's like, did you see the new guy that works at Wendy's? He's bad news. And everyone's like, look, man, no offense, I don't take this shopping mall seriously enough to really pay attention to who's working here. I'm just trying to complete my shift at Foot Locker and go home, okay? Nobody is really trying to hang out and stick around here, I promise you. No one's paying attention to who looks shitty or not. We just want to go home. So obviously he starts, telling everyone, I'm gonna follow him. He's like following this poor kid to his car, and the poor kid is obviously getting pretty scared of it. He's like, can you please stop following me? And the security guard is like, oh, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, I don't know why it would matter. So they get into a little bit of an argument, and the managers of the shopping mall kind of tell the security guard, the outlet mall, like, back off, like, stop. We don't want to fire you. You're a great worker. Please stop. And so he stops, but he keeps telling everybody, like, oh, that kid's up to no good. Trust me, one day I'll have to stop him with these bad boys. And is, like, patting on his side on his little club things. And so, anyways, people are kind of ignoring him or whatever. And then one night, it's pretty quiet and everybody's going home. And the person who sends me this story is, like, locking up their store, and they start walking to the car, and they see somebody that works at one of the other stores in the shopping mall walking to their car, and it's a girl. And out of nowhere, this guy in, like, a black hoodie comes up and, like, starts trying to rob her. He's like, give me everything that you have, give me your car keys, give me all of it, and basically the guy who sent me this story starts like running over to try to get involved, but before he can even get there, security man Sam is on the job, bruh, and he takes out his little clubs and he like hits the guy like 2 times. The guy falls down. He gets the girl's wallet purse thing. It's like what girls have really weirdly shaped wallets, Has no one ever talked about that? I feel like that's something we need to talk about eventually. And as he's getting the girl his wallet, the guy gets back up, which I'm sorry, security guard man, but let me teach you a lesson. After you knock out the purse thief, you usually arrest him before you get the purse, Generally, you try to neutralize the threat. I don't want to say neutralize the threat because I feel like he would be like, yes, sir, and just, stick the club like through the back of his head. I don't want any of that, but you guys get the idea, So he gets back up and starts trying to fight with the security guard, bruh. But this fat security guard, just by the grace of God, somehow gets like 2 more lucky hits on the guy's head with these clubs, and the guy is out now. He potato bags to the floor, and almost like a Scooby-Doo villain, the security guard reaches down and let's see who's behind this creature, and he pulls off the guy's hoodie, and sure enough, it's the kid that had started working at the restaurant that he said was up to no good, bruh. And when I tell you that this man's ego grew to a size that was immeasurable that day, I mean it. That scene in The Grinch where his heart gets bigger, and all of a sudden he becomes a better person who loves everyone even more? Yeah, that's what happened with the security guard's ego, except he didn't start loving people more. He was more full of himself. He starts telling everyone that asked him about it, basically, that like he had a moment where, in Predator, when everything's in thermal cameras and they can just tell what's about to happen. I felt that in my bones. I knew immediately that I was there to save the day. And so while they're waiting for the actual cops to show up, which takes forever, because surprisingly, purse theft with a suspect in custody is not the main thing that cops are, looking for. And the entire time he's pacing back and forth with people walking by and asking what's going on. And of course he's like, I've never felt more pure than when I was hunting down the criminal. Like, bruh, you got lucky and smacked him with clubs twice. You did not hunt him down. He didn't even run. He got back up and tried to fight you. Like, that's not running. That is the opposite of running. You didn't have a Vine moment. Why are you running? None of that happened. That's not real. You're delusional. So, obviously, eventually the cops come and, they're kind of like, oh, thanks. Like, thanks for catching him. You're very nice. And, he was like, yeah. When do I get my news story? And the cops are like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm a hero. I stopped a robbery. When do I get my news story? And they go, oh, no, man, you're a security guard. This is kind of your job. You don't really get a news story. That's more for like when a 12-year-old saves an old lady or something. We don't really use news stories for people that are just doing their job. And the guy gets all offended. He's like, what? So I've been saving this shopping mall day after day, and I'm not even going to get a thank you or an invitation to the force? And the cops are kind of like, wait, huh? And the reason that the person who sent me the story is still there because they're a witness, so they're just kind of watching this go down, and he's like, yeah, everybody knows that after you save the day, the police chief comes and shakes your hand and asks you to join the force. This security cop, bless his heart, genuinely thought that the chief of police was going to come down and ask him to join the police force because he stopped this man from stealing a purse. And don't get me wrong, listen, it is heroic to stop a robbery, but when your job is to, stop robberies at the mall, it's kind of like what's expected, Cops are heroes, absolutely. But every time a cop stops a speeder, we don't, stop traffic and go, listen, Thank you for keeping our roads safe. Amen, brother. Keep it safe. You're like, ah, man, that sucks that person got pulled over, you know? Like, that's just not how it works. But obviously, this man has just seen too many action movies and was convinced that he was going to get on the force by getting his big break and stopping the criminal. And that's not what happened. And, anyways, I guess word of this gets back to the people that own the shopping mall, and they felt bad because he was really down about it. Like, he legitimately thought that he was going to be a cop after he stopped this purse robber. Bless his heart, man. Like, what a sweet guy. It's funny. Obviously, it's funny. But at the same time, like, oh, that's kind of sad. You know, you just want to do the right thing so he could be a cop. But anyways, so the owners of the shopping mall decided to, like, give him the sheriff rank as the security guard. So nothing changes. He just got promoted to like sheriff of security guards, but there's no other security guards and it doesn't change any of his powers. But he goes around from store to store talking about ever since how he became a sheriff, it's been really hard for him to, you know, adjust to the changes. And he signed up for a dating site with law enforcement professionals because like just you know, off in his own little world. But yeah, that's the story of how a neckbeard ended up saving the planet from a purse robber. If you enjoyed, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the video. Follow me on Instagram at Scrubby, Twitter at Scrubby_69. Today's notification shout out goes to the always fantastic, beautiful, Dare Elf. Big shout out to you, man. Thanks for having on notifications. If you want notifications, shout out, send me proof of you having your notifications on to my Instagram at Scrubby. Cop yourself some merch. Use code Scrubby at GFuel checkout. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'm out. Peace.